Welcome, the good people. You are now tuning in live and direct to the Brew Tables Talkz, where we as a collective discuss topics ranging all across the board. A place where brews that are like-minded come together and build.
Shalom, everybody. Shalom, everybody. It's Leon the Servant with my co-host, Devon Lee.
What it do, my people?
And we back here with another interesting one.
You know?
Week after week, we promised you guys, so greetings, everyone. I see Israel's in here tuning in from work. All praises to the Most High. I hope you're edified from the conversation that we bring, and everyone else who catches this on playback and joins later in the stream.
What we bringing out?
Bringing out some of that history, man. And history is a very funny thing. Before we even get real into it, is when we look at it or bored by it, it's found something to be something that's not fun, not great to look at, not great to be a part of. It's something that just reflects us only as depicted as slaves. And that's where the history stops. That's where it starts and stops. That's all we know about ourselves. And everything else seems to be hidden. So what we're here to do is to bring out some of those hidden truths, to elaborate on some of the things that we don't know. And you know how we started off in these. We like to break down the words. But before we do that, let's get to discussion flow, how everything is going to go today. We're going to bring out what history is, the importance of knowing the past events, how expansive history truly is, and how society rules, or is it culture? Is it society that pushes the true history, or is it the actual events that happen pushed as true history? All right, let's get into it. Take it away, Devon Lee.
Well, y'all already know, man. Breaking down what history truly means. And just by extensive research, Googling, having the dictionary at hand, history is the study of past events, particularly in human affairs. It's also a branch of knowledge that records and explains these past events. And who's really keeping account of these past events? Who is the one writing the truths of these past events? And are they our past events?
I just want to say shalom to everybody in the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna try this time. I'm gonna try it again.
Come on, man.
This is like an inside joke now. I'm not even cat. So shalom, Nelly. Shalom, Yahira.
Hey.
Shalom, Arnold. Shalom, moving silent. Shalom, and Arnold. Yeah, I said Arnold. Shalom, everybody. Shalom. I think I'm getting better with it.
Peace and blessings, my people in the chat. Peace and blessings, man. I hope that today is nothing less than informative on what we about to bring out, just as far as past events and who's recording it, and just being able to comprehend what is truly history if they're not telling you the truth of what happened in the past.
True. Well, and I don't even think that a lot of us recognize how impactful we have been throughout history, even in the modern sense.
Bring it out.
A lot of us be like, yo, we built those buildings back then. We did this, we did that. But can you point to me 5 things that someone that's of our community built that impacts you on a day-to-day basis? We know, but we don't really know. We're aware, but we can't fully see.
Mm.
So I hope that when we bring this out, we open up our eyes to some of the past events and past inventions that we have had our fingerprint on.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Past inventions. Hey, that's nice. That's nice. Because we gotta know who's really creating this stuff. Because you keep a record pretty much of who gets the notoriety, who gets basically the royalties off creating these devices that we use today. Because if you can say Albert Einstein made the light bulb, guess what? All the credit.
Ooh, you already hit on one.
Hey, bro, we in tune. We in tune.
Most definitely,
Bruh.
I mean, it's crazy because we know that we're geniuses. We know that we impact society, history, but we don't know how. We know that we did most of the work, but what work? Show your proof. Where's your IP? Your intellectual property? You
feel me?
And how many patents do you have? Or was it stolen?
I nearly said this is needed. Hey, bro, we got to know who's really creating these things that we use today. We got to know truthfully what happened in the past. Like when you have someone keeping records and they're able to say, "Oh, you didn't do this," but you have receipts, you have proof. Then that means that this is truthfully, rightfully your ownership. This is a descendant of what your people can do. When you see history, you see majority of people who have our hue displayed as workers, slaves, people who just get told what to do. But is that the truth of the past events that occurred in these human affairs? Hey, we got those creative, intuitive conversations over here at the Brew Table Talks, brother. Appreciate you tuning in, King Deuce. Man, hey, you ready? You ready, brother Leon? You got you on mic.
Let's peel it back, brother. Let's peel it all back. So here we have a list of things that we have had our footprint on. A lot of us don't know that a sister named Sarah Bone improved the iron board. So now we no longer iron on the floor, right? We had a nurse named Mary Van Britton Brown, who was a nurse and wound up inventing and coming up with the pioneering of home security systems. We have Garrett Morgan, who invented the three lights traffic light. What do I mean? Well, originally, when lights were created, it had green and red. Guess what happens when you're zipping down the street at 50 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour, 35 miles per hour, and out of nowhere, a light goes from green to red? Accidents happen. And he was like, you know what? I think that this could be improved, and let's add an additional light called yield, the yellow light, to slow down. Right? Then we have Patricia Bath, who was a part of Laser FICO. And what she wound up bringing out was she started helping people gain their eyesight back from cataracts. We invented that surgery. We invented those methods. The automatic gear shift from no longer having to go manual, but having automatic cars, we made that a possibility. Richard Spikes. The clothes dryer, George T. Sampson invented it. And that's just a few of the things that on a day-to-day basis we couldn't live without. We wouldn't live without. You know? And Divine Lee, since you got artists in your name, I might as well let you expand on the music side.
Hey,
I'll chime in.
Brother, just to know that in the past we were responsible for literally the flavor, the spice. And music is something that moves us, man, as a collective unit. Like, what would humans be without these portrayals of art, and music being one of the biggest ones? So it's like knowing our past history, knowing the affairs we had in the past that impacted us today via music, like the Black history, creating ragtime, jazz, blues, modern country. Come on now, like do you really see too many of us making country music now? Like,
They don't even know,
man.
They don't even know that country music came from the. Actually, hold on. Let's take it from the top. The banjo, which is a common staple of original country music, was actually something that was brought over from West Africa. Then it came over here, and then those songs that country music models after are the spirituals that we used to hum and sing and pass hidden messages with. And that's where country comes from. But when you really look at country music that we invented, it gives you an understanding of how blues came out and jazz, and how jazz gave birth to blues. That, I mean, it's just so expansive when we really look how 90% of all music in America, and I would say influential around the world, has the Brew stamp all over it.
Bruh.
I might even argue all music.
So why don't we own record labels? Why don't we own the distribution channels of music if our past events in human affairs clearly shows us creating all of these types of music? But then again, it's like, who do we give credit to? Who do you give the rights over to? And this is pivotal, knowing our history, knowing the past events and truth. What type of responsibility did we have in human affairs, knowing that you can say we built this country off our slave labor, but then do we have anything to show from it? Like the history of even being slaves and then not even owning land is a slap in the face. The history of creating all these inventions and then not even having the right to receive any financial support from our forefathers. Like all these traffic lights, shouldn't that be returning unto us as far as what do they call what reparations? Like, come on now. And then it's, you try to get a job and it's really, they don't tell you who you are. They show you what they created you to be.
I mean, hey, if I was told that we created rock and roll, we created country, we created obviously funk, disco, right? Hip hop, R&B, EDM, right? And that all that music is our music, and we wasn't sheltered to the image that only hip hop, only rap, some R&B, maybe some jazz if you have some swag, or flavor was us, how many more avenues do you think we would actually pursue?
Man.
If it wasn't stamped with the idea that that's their music.
Mm.
How do we create their music if it's from us? You know? And if the story isn't being told outside of, well, let's see what I can recall from history that's dealing with Black people when we go through Black History Month and just in general, slaves, Civil Rights Act, maybe Black Panthers if your school was willing to teach that. And let's see, that's where it ends. Oh, don't forget your amendments that was written in there so that you could be considered a citizen, but not actually work. I mean, if you guys want to be down, I did a whole live stream on that. But how do my mind even see a possibility of being more if all I know us to be is slaves?
Point it out. Hold on, Ruby had a great comment here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was responding to why we don't own anything. She said because our great grandfather sold his birthright for a bowl of soup. Mm. And not knowing the truth of past events. And when you can really look at our forefathers and say, what really happened? Why are we really in this situation? But then are they able to explain it to us truthfully? Are they able to give us a true record of what was done? And who is giving us this record? Who's passing down these events to us that's saying that this is right? This is what occurred. So, hey, to say we all learning, we trying to find out.
And I want to bring up the scriptural importance of that. Oh, what's up, Mark the Messenger?
Mark
I see you.
Messenger, what it do? What it do? Peace and blessings, family.
Peace and blessings. But that reminds me of a certain scripture, and that's Deuteronomy 32:7, if I'm correct. But it says this: remember the days of old, and consider the years of many generations, and ask thy father, and he shall show thee, and thy elder, and they shall tell thee. We are supposed to be able to ask the generations before us of why we are here right now, what's going on right now, right? And because we're not able to do that, means that we got to do our own due diligence to bring these things into fruition, to understand how we got in this pit so we can get ourselves out. Same thing with the curses. We understand why we have these curses, because we turn to this and we turn to that and we didn't listen to the Most High. Now it's time to get ourselves out. We were selling ourselves short this way. Oh, well, then this is our full worth. I mean, you truly don't know something until it's taught to you or shown to you or is revealed to you. So now that it's being revealed, how do we move forward with the history that we're bringing out?
Hey, that's deep right there. That's deep, brother. Because when we really go back and ask our forefathers, are they giving us a true record of what occurred? Or are they trying not to be ashamed of what choices they made? You know, in this day and age, I'm blessed enough to say that my grandparents are still alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, thriving, being of susceptibility to current events that's going on, but it's like, you know, the Most High, God willing, has preserved them. And to be able to ask them what occurred before times, you know, they kind of give me watered down feedback. And I'm looking at them like, you're not telling me the whole truth. Why? What's going on here? What is it that you're not telling me?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we truly say, ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee, what if you have situations where your elders aren't telling you, aren't showing you. Your fathers are ashamed to tell you what they did in the past. How do you operate then?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I saw Yahira. I'm getting this word right. I'm so happy. I'm so happy, man. So Yahira made a comment, and she said this: "When I asked my father why, my dad said because we lack knowledge of our true power and self, and we're controlled by fear." Isn't that what they're trying to do to us currently in current events? Trying to control us with fear, and then we see things being revoked and peeled back. I mean, they're saying that we might go to a nuclear war, right? So a lot of things is trying to control us by fear. And if we see that that was a mistake from the past, are we going to allow it to repeat onto us?
King Deuce said, of course they didn't, because they were taught wrong. And when you have our forefathers being taught the wrong past events, what can they really teach us? And moving forward, how can we really respond when our children come and ask us about what happened in the past? Hey, what happened during that time when they said it was a pandemic? Oh, well, I'll tell you. Like, and to say being affected personally from these events that are taking place right now, and truly, acknowledging the Most High. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. Put all your trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Hey,
being able to just recall history, being able to recall our truth is something where your path is going to get directed. You know?
You gotta show the facts.
You feel me? Hey, bring up the records, man.
Most definitely. I mean, what you talking about is crucial. I mean, even all right, let's look. What are we gonna tell her? You know what? Before I even get there, let me stop jumping ahead. I had to teach my sister the fact that she has to cover her face is not normal and it's not right. She didn't understand until I brought out, well, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel like you have a muzzle on? Doesn't it stop you from breathing the way you want and you need to breathe? Isn't it a hindrance when you're running and playing and being a child? And then she understood, right? But if that conversation never happens, man, imagine they just removed all the adults and just raised the children. It doesn't, they were like, well, this is normal. This is how it's supposed to be. And that's why it's important that we bring out the history and showing that no. No. We come from a royal line of kings, queens, a royal priesthood. We are people who are supposed to exude prestige, intellect outside of the realms of what society tries to put and connotate as substandard.
Hey, the truth of past events, real men of power did not dress up as women.
True.
Real men of influence and power and integrity were true leaders and brought forth solutions and healed nations
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But when you got people who control the history and the records that are being kept, they can tell you anything.
That's why we gotta turn it to the Brew story, man.
Hey, come on, man. Come on, let's get it done, man.
That's why
Hey,
we
put a
turn it
put
to
a
the
one
Brew
in the
story.
chat if y'all feeling some edification from this brew table talk right now. Put a one, put some flame emojis in the chat. Let us hear the claps from the people. Let us know that we moving in the right directions, man. Y'all can go ahead and light that chat up for us right quick.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Gotta make it the Brew story, man. We gotta show them from both sides.
You know.
Just join. All right, cool. All praises to the Most High.
And we all praises to the Most High, man. We gonna keep on building. Hey, what else past events we got for him, brother?
Let's bring it back out, man. Let's get back into it. So, history is an account of what has transpired. The truth of the matter of past events. The truth. Okay. The knowledge of record keeping. Human beings' past interactions. What does history teach? Well, this isn't supposed to be the truth, right? So, why does it seem that when the Renaissance happened, that everything got washed? Everyone became much lighter in skin complexion. What if I told you that the man named King James was considered a mulatto and that his child was considered Black Boy, and that was his nickname? What if I told you that before the transatlantic slave trade, there was something called the Spain Inquisition? And what if I told you before then that we held powers of nobility? We was people like Daniel in the aspect that we were high elected officials. And that even though it seems as though we've been in captivity for quite some time, if not physically, mentally, that's only a small portion. And you know what? What if I told you that if you want the most accurate history being represented to you, you're going to find it in the Bible before you find it anywhere else?
All praises to the Most High. All glory, all honor to the Most High. Those official records of the Bible, bro. The truth. And when people say, "Oh, I'm in the truth," what does that truly mean? Oh, I know what happened in the past events, and I know how to operate as being in my true nature, as a man, as a leader, as following the Most High. Truth of the matter is, and brother, all praises. Hey, bro, the love I got for you is undeniable, bro. Because for you to bring out what you have been on your platform and to show us in a greater light, and to say, hold on, before we even learn who we are, we got to acknowledge the laws. We got to acknowledge the receipts of how people of the Most High, children of the Most High, move in this world. To acknowledge, first and foremost, the 10 Commandments. Do we keep those as history records of how to be human beings in this world? So, family, you brought that out, and it really inspired me to walk more in my truth. Walk more in truth with the light, bro.
I don't want to have to correct that. It's not your truth. It's the truth.
Hey, okay.
We're not like these other people that try to cater things to the way that we want to see it. I mean, hey, you're talking to the same people that thought they was Gentiles, and they realized that no, we're not. So we're fine with being at the bottom. That's not the issue. But that's a lie. It's not the true history. History is supposed to be the truth of past events.
You know?
And hey, sometimes the truth hurts because you can't keep living the same way you was living. It reflects. And hey, once upon a time, if I only went to school would teach me that I'm less evolved, less adequate than people who are fairer than me. That's what the whole genealogy and story of evolution teaches. It's a racist doctrine that has no basis. I could break it down. Why have we not found any fossils of half morphed animals? Answer me that. Flimsy theory, no credibility. What formed first, the trachea or the acid in your stomach or the teeth for you to eat the new food that you're quote unquote evolving for? Flimsy idea, flimsy theory. Rubbish.
The truth of the matter of past events. Who is the one keeping these records? When you literally, they took away our ability to even read, to even write. That is the essential of record keeping. But then you have a people who are more intrigued on entertaining than looking at past events. What are you going to try to do to keep up with the times? And I don't know about you, bro, but I've been seeing it as far as how entertainment goes. People literally are out here just displaying us as men in a manner that, hold on, we didn't do that in the past. That didn't lead to our success.
That's not even our community, man.
Exactly.
That's not even what we stand on, man. I mean, you go into the hood, the ghetto, where we're heavily populated at, and you come the way that they're coming, you're not going to be accepted nowhere. I'm going to tell you right now. You go to any of the OGs, anyone who's been in the cuts, you go to any honest standing brother who has his own understanding, didn't just get fed by some lying pastor, right? Who was getting his pockets lined up. He's going to tell you that that's not the way we swing over here. Man. And you can either change your ways or you can go, but it can't be both. You can't stay here and be the same. Yeah, we come to the truth as we are, but that doesn't mean that we're not called to be better. It doesn't mean that we cannot transform. That's what the whole process of transforming that mind. What happened to laying the old man to rest and becoming a new man? Are those just words? That's not our culture. And it's a disservice to even try to paint a minority to represent another minority. Make that make sense. As the majority. Make that make sense.
Those were not our past interactions with each other, brother. And
bro, I mean, go ahead, bring it out. Bring it out.
To show love and to say, hey, I'm with you, and we are together as a community. Where the lines are blurred, where love seems to be as something as acceptance instead of correction, instead of accountability, instead of growing. What are our past interactions? What is the records of us showing love to one another? But then it's like you have a certain people in a demographic of people who tend to only know how to show love physically. That's not a part of our history. That's not what really has transpired with how we came about as a people.
Mm.
So what does this history teach us?
Mm.
And majority of the times, as I look through these history books, it just shows a bunch of physicality of conquest and violence and disease and pestilence and lies and treacheries. Pretty much everything that the Bible told you not to do to your brother. That
Mhm.
is what they're teaching in these history books.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I also want to bring out that if you want to see where that culture really originates from, go look at the Greeks. Go look up something called the soldier Roman embrace, where I'm going to just leave that for your own due diligence. And I'm going to leave that at that. I just wanted to bring that up. If you guys want to really see where that culture stimulates from, it's not here. It's not over here. But let's show the Brew side of things. Let's move forward. Let's move onward. Now, why is it important for us to know our history? Well, we kind of went over it, right? But if you don't know, actually, you know what? Let's bring out this quote real quick. Let's bring up this quote. It should be the next one. Yeah, right here. This is by May Angelou. And it says this, or she said this: I have great respect for the past. If you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. I have respect for the past, but I'm not a person, but I'm a person of the moment. I'm here and I do my best to be completely centered at the place I'm at. Then I go forward to the next place. If you don't know where you've been, you don't know what your people have done, then how can you even know where to get your footing off of, where you're actually starting at? I mean, the question comes to the point of, well, if you've only ever been compared to people that look nothing like you, and that's your standard of beauty, well, then how can you ever truly appreciate your own beauty?
Preach.
If you've only been shown that the music that they make is considered classical, is considered scholarly, but your music is regarded as savagery and barbaric, then how can you ever perceive yourself in a sense of worth? You know, we need to actually learn to love ourselves and our history, accept the faults so that we can actually move forward. You know? And if we don't, well, then we're going to never be able to be in the moment because we're always fighting with the past. Always, perpetually. Stereotypes that don't fit us.
Bro.
You know?
And to say that history has impacted me, and not on the broad sense of what happened in ancient times, but in my own life, the history of what I've done, the records that I've been creating. Like, so I know you work out, you keep a record of how much you were able to lift yesterday. You keep a record of how long you were able to run for. This helped build your confidence moving forward to say, hey, I did this already. These were the results from that, and I can build on top of that. So history not only helps you interact with other people, but interact with yourself and build your confidence. The past recorded events of the interactions between human beings and yourself, and how it will impact your future as far as how you teach your children, how you even interact and grow with yourself. So when we talk about history, you're not just talking about old ancient people. No, we talking about yourself. What receipts do you keep as far as like the history of your business? The history of the Brew Table Talks. You feel me? knowing what foundations we laid down and saying, hold on, we already did that. We need to build on top of that. We can create growth in our field knowing where we came from. Hey man, peace and blessings to everybody in the chat. I see my brother Cool Jen in the chat. What it do, man? What it do?
What it do? Shalom, shalom. All right. And that's just, I'm happy we're having this conversation because, you know what? As you say, history has affected you. It's also affected me. I was about 5, right? Little personal tidbit. I was about 5 or so. I wanted to grow out dreadlocks. I thought it was cool, and I think also at the time my father had dreadlocks. If not, he just cut them off, right? And I was like, yeah, I want that. Why not? That's dope. My mom was like, cool, no problem. I didn't like her doing it on my head, so I said, nah, I'm good. But I still desired it. So I get to middle school, and I was like, you know what? I could grow out my hair again, right? And I was like, I come from a people who've only been persecuted if we actually own our own styles of hair. Cornrows is looked at as ghetto. Dreadlocks is looked at dirty. Afro is looked at rebellious. And actually, I did a lot of due diligence on this. There are schools, brother. There are schools that practically can tell you to cut off your afro. There are schools that can tell you that you can't wear dreadlocks here, right? Even though that's your culture, that's your people. You're not affecting or inflicting damage to no one, but their self-image. They can't copy what you're doing, right? It's not professional. So I love that persecution. For middle school, I was like, you know what? I already fight enough battles. I don't want to fight another one. I just keep my hair low. Went through high school. Then, the whole demic happened. I'm like, man, it's time for me to move for me. And when I was going, it didn't matter where my hair looked like because I was going into a quote unquote blue collar job. So there was more freedom. But to say that history has affected me on a level that I couldn't even be who I wanted to be because I thought there was going to be persecution, and where's my community to help support? If I can't get one of their jobs, at least I can get one of our jobs. Oh, wait, they don't exist. Or hold up, they don't want to help.
Sheesh, bro. Hey, you're showing the truth of what has transpired with our interactions in the past. Knowing that if I walk around with an afro, they look at me and say, oh man, he's a threat to society because he's over here trying to be a freedom fighter, or he's over here trying to disobey laws, and we have mandates put in place where, if he's not following our rules, he can't work for us because, hey, this is our place. This is our history. This is what we want to create for future generations. These are the foundations that we set in motion. But it's like, how helpful is a person's track record that always seem to destroy another people?
Exactly. And I want to go on from that. I want to share what have been the bywords that we've been known by throughout history. Well, the first two is not really bywords. Israel, Jews. And we have the hard N word. Some people get offended just saying it, even though I'm the same person now. It causes the same amount of damage to myself, but I'm going to let it slide so that I don't offend anybody, and this is good for playback. Then we had Negroes, African Americans, which is 2 continents. Oh, I said Americans. This is supposed to be African Americans. My bad, family. My bad. That's 2 continents, right? Because the Americas is North America and South America, right? Now, that's one issue. Then the second issue is that those are two people that aren't even our skin complexion. Y'all gonna have to forgive me, family. All right. Then we go back to we call it Negroes. Then we call ourselves niggas. But when we come to the truth, we realize that we're Hebrews.
Mm.
And this is the Most High's people. That we have a track record of not being favored outside of the Most High.
Mm.
We have a track record of being hated. Absolutely. That. Thank you for that scripture. Jah son of Yah said this. Songbird. Wow. Psalms 38:4. Those shall become a proverb and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. You know? And I thought that that was important to keep in mind as we go through this history. This was told that we would be a byword because we turned away from the Most High.
To have an accurate record of past events is pivotal. Knowing that when we move in this life, what is the foundation that we keep on building on? Brother Leon. Could I speak to you man to man and say, to even move forward, to be fruitful and multiply, we have to be leaders. We have to be men of the Most High. We have to show the truth and say what we do is not on our own accord, but with the power given unto us by the Most High, we are able to operate in this world. So we must keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. We must be able to show true man in this life that no matter what, we succeed. We don't compromise. We hold firm into our integrity. We speak up when we see things that are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We are supposed to create history and not let past records, false accounts, turn us into people who we are not.
Mm.
So I appreciate you, brother, because this is this is personal for me, man. I don't know about you, but I feel not only misrepresented, but I feel as though it was an attack on my character, trying to assassinate my future, my kids. So when you say, yeah, you putting stuff in my food, you know, teaching me the wrong things in education, and now you're lying to me about the history, about the events that were recorded, brother. I feel as though these chains are breaking loose.
Most definitely.
And as you and as all men in the faith start to regain their strength, what do you think we're gonna do?
To the top we shall rise.
Amen. Hey.
Oh man. I saw this interesting question by Ruby, and it was, I feel like anyone truly seeking him will learn of their history. Am I right or wrong? I believe you're absolutely right. And I believe that this conversation is that happening,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because guess what? The scriptures say, raise up a child in that way, and he shall not depart from it, from his days of old. What kind of things are we putting in the environment for our youth who are innocent? And for those people who tune in, right, and who don't fully believe in the scriptures but are interested, who are being called, right, these conversations is to open up that doorway. You know, we're just planting seeds, and wherever the seeds go, the Most High waters them. I mean, He's the one who gave us the seeds and put us on a journey. I mean, He was the one who did it all, to be honest. Who was just a vessel. You know. And let's see. Oh, I saw something else interesting. So it was something starred, right? And before we get to this, let's finish it up with some scriptures, and then we can really interact with the chat. Before I'm jumping ahead, yo. I'm real eager today. I don't know what got me like that, but I'm real eager today.
It's another twofold, man. It's another
always. Let's go to Deuteronomy 4:32, right? And it says this: For ask now of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that God created man upon the earth, and ask from the one side of heaven unto the other, whether there have been any such thing as this great thing is, or have been heard like it.
Can I take that right quick?
Take it.
Can I expand? Hey, bro. All praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High. Thank you so much for the light. Since the day that God created man upon the earth, the truth of past events in history, what do they try to tell you where man came from? To say, was it a true record, or were these false doctrines leading us into a direction that looked at everything as being deprived from a Big Bang? But knowing our past, knowing where we came from, knowing the records and who's keeping the records. Hey, Deuteronomy 4:32.
Hey.
Days that are past, which are before thee, since the day that God created man upon the earth.
Absolutely. And just to add extra clarification, Osai is talking about that covenant, talking about those laws that He gave us. The verse right before it says this: For the Lord thy God is a merciful God. He will not forsake thee, nor destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which He sworn unto thee. And then it reads, For acts now the days that are past, and so on and so forth. Our history is important, and it's nothing like it. Nothing can replace it. You know.
The records of creations. And who has the record of not creating things but saying, hey, look what I made. Hey, to truly being able to identify who you are in this life is a blessing. You move with more of a purpose. You are able to actually do things that you love because you're building and you're growing. And when you identify as being one with nature, say, even the flowers dance, even the trees move, knowing that they're just building, knowing that they're just growing. They're fulfilling their purpose in this life. You can't tell a tree that it's not a tree. You can't tell a flower that it's not beautiful. You can't make them believe who they aren't so that they don't grow to their full extent.
But doesn't the scripture say that I'm beautifully, wonderfully made, but man have taken the understanding that we're purposeless creations in the void, being hurled through the galaxies.
Man, all praises to the Most High. I'm beautifully, wonderfully made. And to walk in that light, walk in that truth, walk into that record that's being kept, knowing that we were created for an awesome purpose and not just by some miraculous,
man, where they get energy from, man?
cosmic event.
Where they get the energy from, man? They
Bruh.
said Big Bang. I'm like, well, what energy caused that? Oh, well, energy can't be created nor destroyed. Okay, well then explain yourself. Man, too many questions, not enough answers when I deal with them, bro.
When we dive
we got
into
another one.
Look, man, we be in tune, and I feel it, bro. And I can't thank you enough, man. Just to be able to build with you on these topics, man. The Brew Table Talks has been nothing less than inspiring for me to keep moving forward, bro. You know what's going on behind the scenes, but to say that the people see the progression of, man, God truly working in both our lives, bro.
Definitely.
So I'm just thankful to be a vessel. Thankful for another twofold. Thankful to have a purpose underneath this sun, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, now I saw some interesting comments, right?
Bring it out.
So, Yaharahu, see, all right. So I'm gonna pose this question as I'm reading it to you. I posted this a little earlier. She said, "I would like if you brothers would discuss and guide with greater details on how men can reform themselves and learn to lead again, others in the routine, spirit, semen retention, stay in your Bible. Let's see, stay, and it goes on. Stay away from succubus, eat right, exercise, etc. I mean, detailed step-by-step instructions. Many brothers need their hands held for a while. We need some true reform schooling."
Amen. Hey. Record keeping, brother. And you said it to me that you were on the same time where time management. You were able to look back and see what you were doing throughout the day because you kept records of it. You kept the history of what you were spending your time doing. I recommend that to all brothers. I recommend that to all sisters, even down to your thoughts, to be able to keep history of what you're thinking, keep history of what you're doing. So, man, hey, we can build on that. That's
right,
a
we
series.
don't have to talk behind the scenes. No promises, family. But I just wanted to pose it. I saw the question. I wanted to bring it out, and I understood what you was talking about. I saw that there was a little discrepancies in the chat and whatnot. I get exactly what you're coming from, and you want us to add a little bit more balance on this aspect. I think it's something we could do in the future, most definitely. I can't make any promises. We're busy men, but we could probably. Yo, I think this is going to be the next Brew Table Talks, man.
Hey, man. Hey. Shout out to Yahira Who, man. She always stay interacting with us, keep us motivated as men to just keep on spreading this word. So it's a blessing when we got sisters like that tuning in and making sure we stay encouraged because it's tough out here. And you really look at it, men need our women to encourage us to be the best that we can be. But hey, you got certain women that look at men and be encouraging that Fruity Pebble side of them to come out there. You know, and when you support these men content, like I don't know if y'all been tuning in to Breed and Ringo, but when y'all support these other man content and they're just doing it for attention, guess what you do to them? You tell them that what they're doing is right. You're showing attention and you're paying for them to continue in their tasks. And then when you got brothers like us, it's like, hold on. So what they're doing is right because they're getting the attention, they're getting the notoriety, they're getting the push behind from the women. That is what women want to see.
Facts. So, and just to build on that, right? The reason why I don't know if this is privy to a lot of people, and then if it's privy, I don't think people actually internalize this information. So we make about, as a community, Black people, about it's like 2.6, almost $3 trillion of net worth value, right? every year. Now, if we take that money, and most of that money never comes back into our communities. It's only like a very small percentage. I think it's under 10%. I think it's like some real small, like 3 or 1. It's in the single digits if I'm correct. And that money doesn't even stay in our communities for more than 3 minutes, right? That's under 10% of $3 trillion, right? It stays in our community for less than 3 minutes. Now, when we look at who spends the most in our community, it is not the man, it is the woman. They're the people who buy. And there's nothing wrong with that. But our buying power has a lot. Now, buying, let's break down this real quick. You pay. You can pay attention, you can pay money, you can pay services, you can pay compliments, you can pay on any level, right? So just because we're generating $3.6 trillion, whatever we are doing and we're investing, even if it's just our time, can destroy or build something up. I mean, honestly, we are the ones who buy Chanel, we buy Louis, we buy Gucci. We're the ones coming out of our pockets paying these people, and we're building their household names. Those aren't brands, those are household names. Let's be honest. So it's important, even when we take it down to a smaller sector, when it comes to people on the other side of the quote unquote black manosphere, right? And who aren't preaching the truth. If you pay into any of that, it's kind of like you're helping feed that algorithm, you're helping feed that beast system, and the aspect now is something that you have people fighting against each other. Well, if those brothers were strictly talking to other brothers, trust and believe, their teachings wouldn't last long. Brothers will either try it or not try it, and then what would happen is that it wouldn't work, and brothers would be mad, and then it'll be done away with. We're going to see if we can get Divinely back in here. I want to keep pushing, keep it moving. So yeah, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing that we are not a part of that service. I'm going to see if I can get Divinely back in here real quick. But is there any other questions, any other comments, any other concerns, anything you want to bring out that we brought out? History is expansive. There's a lot of things that's going on. Let me see something real quick. Man, having technical difficulties out here, man. There's a first time for everything, though, right? First time for everything. All right. So, at-home goods to organize, beautify, and add comfort to my home. If you are not a part of the solution, you are part of the problem. Absolutely. If you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem. And I mean, but it's also on our behalf on making sure that we are the ones who are even making these companies and making these businesses that you can actually buy and support, making sure that our quality is good. I mean, we have a quote unquote track record of our things being expensive, and that we have a culture that only wants to get our things for cheap. They only want to get it at a discount. And that's something that makes absolutely no sense, because 9 times out of 10, our quality be on point. And if our quality is on point, but the price is high or higher, just like it is for any other brand, then why do you not want to support? You know? And that's because they're comfortable. They're used to having all these brands and these household names that sell a status. But what's the point? Let's see. To restore ourselves. Man, y'all want a hardcore Bible study session? Sheesh. I mean, like, exactly what does that even entail? Like, is it similar to how I did? Is it similar to Divinely's nightly scriptures, or how I did a scripture meditation, or are we like going through chapters in the book and we're just reading them and expounding upon each chapter, or is it like uh, um, a topic based? I'm just trying to make sure that what you guys are asking, I even understand exactly what it is. Um, well, brothers in the truth start pointing out the righteous set apart sisters. I feel like the unrighteous gets all the shine. You know, I do. I see what you're coming from, and you know what's crazy because a lot of sisters speak on the same part that I'm starting to realize, and I think that. Let me see. How do I even tackle this? You guys catch me off guard right now. Getting true and honest answers. I see this being something you guys talk about often and common about righteous sisters not getting a shine. But my question is this: how do you exactly shine someone who's supposed to be protected from social media and protected from the world? I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about the benefits that we get from sisters being righteous and things of that sort. But how would you like us to highlight you guys? And the fact that you guys are not being showcased in front of the world and having all these men who are not righteous teething and coming and trying to steal them from yourselves, because if you are not aware, we have a steal your girl society or culture where there are vultures hanging around and waiting. Like, I mean, there's so many people who try to line up brothers just because they're envious of the relationship. And I just wanted to ask, how do you even want balance to be added to that if you felt like there's a disbalance or an unbalance or it's disproportionate? Because I see a lot of sisters keep saying that, and I don't think that on our side is really just trying to only highlight, but in the aspect that in the aspect of where do we come from? So I mean, I understand it's a genuine question. I just want to see how would you even think about implementing it? Do you want to just talk about the benefits of having a righteous woman? I mean, brothers make videos on that quite often. They literally break the video in it when it pertains to how wicked sisters are. They really bring a lot of them bring the balance in the same time. It's like, well, sister's supposed to be doing this, but this is not happening because this not happens. So are you looking at the video wrong? Just just throwing questions out. Just throwing questions out. Let me see something real quick. I'm gonna see if I can get Divine Lee back in here. He should be good, but I want to make sure. I'm just gonna send something real quick just in case things is acting a little weird on his behalf. Give me 1 second, family. Come on. All right, cool. All right, cool. All right, there you go. All right, let's send him something real quick. See if he can get back in. Show as examples of how women should be / carry themselves, or women who are using their voice to speak out. I know it's very few, but doing. All right, or even just encouragement or acknowledge that we are out there. Now my question to that is, I'm not trying to be evasive. All right, let me just make sure this is clear. And if anyone else has any questions while I'm answering this one, feel free, because this is the Brew Table Talks. Um, wouldn't us pointing out the faults in certain women be us showing that there is another way and there is another type of woman that is worthy of pursuing after? That's one. Two, when we, or actually, I can't even say we, when they, because I don't really speak on this topic too much. When they bring these topics out and they tell these women, well, you shouldn't have this out and they shouldn't have that out, right? All right, cool. What's up, brother? You back?
What you do, man?
Let me finish this real quick. And when brothers bring out that they shouldn't wear this, or they shouldn't be doing like this, or they shouldn't be talking back, or where's their husband because they need to be checked in this way or that way, wouldn't that be brothers explaining on how righteous or how women should carry themselves, right? And I mean, I know New Breed just did a stream yesterday, and it's on Patreon, but I mean, he has encouraged women in the past, right, to get a righteous brother. I mean, I see that. I mean, I guess you're coming from the point that a lot of us are showing that hellfire is on the opposite side, and not showing that heaven's on the opposite side. In the aspect that hellfire is something that is being dangled in front of you if you keep constantly going down this road. Yeah, it's indirectly. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's not a direct approach, and I can see where you're coming from. I'm just trying to see, like, how can we even magnify it exactly the way that it needs to be magnified, and especially since a lot of sisters seem like this is an issue for you. Talk to me. I can make my own video, or hey, I might have Divine Lee over here make himself a video because he got something going on. I think he's very knowledgeable in the situation. Shalom, brother. Shalom. Good to see you back.
Hey, all praises to the Most High that we still able to continue, even though things might not be the best, man. And to say I had to encounter a little, I don't know what was going on, man. I guess my connections got a little messed up, and shoot, hey. All right. Well, I just heard you talking about we may go through some hellfires.
Nah. So the question was just like it was asked, brothers in the truth, to start pointing out more righteous sisters, and she felt as though only unrighteous sisters get to shine. And I was just asking like some questions on like, well, how exactly do you want us to highlight these women when they're supposed to be a treasure to us and not really brought out into social media that much if we don't want that. Also, and the aspect of, yeah, I understand that a lot of brothers harp on 304s, but when we're doing that, we actually, a lot of them are adding the balance of what a woman should be indirectly. And it was a good question because I do feel as though a lot of sisters generally feel that righteous women do not get enough shine, not get enough playtime on the screen. And I'm not going to tell you divinely, yo, start bringing up your wife and having her, be in the front and limelight, especially that's not what you're comfortable with. So I was trying to, come up with a solution. That's what we do at the Brew Table Talks. We talk things out.
To say, brother, she loves to take care of things in the back. And,
exactly.
And hey, she says, as far as me being a man, I'm the leader. And for her to have a place where she feels as though it's hers, and that's taking care of my children. That's taking care of what needs to be done as far as y'all don't see the back end of how I'm even able to get on this screen. And so let's just know that when I'm not on the screen, best believe she's shining, because for her to do what she do, it allows me to do what I do.
More emphasis on the fact that men they need to change what is appealing to their eyes. Let me bring this up. Man, this guy out of my comfort zone. I ain't gonna cap. I feel like we need to more emphasis on the fact that men are visual creatures. They need to change what is appealing to their eye. They need to go back to knowing that the less a woman reveals, the better. You're absolutely right. And more appealing she is, and less is more. You're absolutely right in the aspect that we are visual creatures because we are also known as very creative creatures as well. A lot of the things that we use in society are things that we imagine up. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, but you are right that we need to have testicular fortitude when dealing with a woman because not every beautiful woman is a woman that is worth going after. And by beauty, I mean every woman that has curvations and you can obviously see them and she's not trying to hide it. You're absolutely right. And that less is more. A woman who loves herself and knows that her worth is not to be spent on everyone else's attention, but with her king. You're absolutely right. I mean, that's in unity. You know, I mean, what is a queen with no armor? What is a king with no queen? You know, so um, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So,
Hey, the history of our relationships,
hey,
the history of our people in relationships. Is it a true record of what's being displayed right now?
facts. Yeah, it's crazy, yo. I mean, no matter like how much I try to avoid talking about something, it just seems like it always winds up coming out. I can't.
You know how the
I can't
spirit
do
be
it.
moving, bro.
Yeah, the spirit be moving, man. It's just like I be like over here. I'm like, you know what? I ain't gonna speak too much on this one or too much on that one. And then yeah, people wanting my exact takes on these exact things. I be trying to I be trying to hang back on certain topics. Yeah. I love you, family. Love you all. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? History or even something that we spoke on previously? Something I said you thought was off? So check me. I know there's some brothers in here, there's some sisters in here who have genuine questions, and I'm not offended just because you ask a question or you don't believe what I believe. I mean, I ain't soft over here. I ain't soft over here. I just ask that everyone stay respectful. I don't tolerate that either.
Mm. But in a sense, where can history actually cause conflict? Can truth of records cause conflict when it's saying, hey, we thrived more in this situation, and there is actually receipts to show that we thrived more?
Uh,
How can I cause a heated conversation when you could really
how
point facts?
how does that cause a heated? Are you really asking how?
You know what I'm saying, bro?
Bro,
But
I'm just
it,
saying it like this. Well, how do you tell yourself that you're a superior people if everything that made you superior is stolen from you? Or no, not stolen from you, stolen from someone else. And Aka's going through it right now, man. That is crazy. He's back though.
man, hey, I can't tell you what's going on. I got a lot of disturbance going around in the environment, I guess, man.
Hey,
I
if
guess,
it
I guess,
happens again, I'm just wrapping this joint up, man.
I guess this one a touchy conversation, man. They don't want to point out the history, brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. But no, I said when you dropped out, how? Well, what about when people realize that everything that they quote unquote made them great was something that they stole?
Hey, think about it. Think about that. What makes you great is something that you stole. What makes people high value is something that they didn't work for.
All right, all right. So Yahira, see, I'm getting better. It has caused major conflicts and has cultivated our current circumstance. But most of us know this. The question is, what do we do about moving forward? Okay, all right. We're a problem solution based channel. So if you want to take it over, you want me to take it over, just let me know.
And we're doing it right now. Being able to provide truth of past events. When we look at us as man, right? Me and you, when we say, hey, we want to grow or create, we look at what we did before. And majority of men that have a purpose and plan in life literally have some type of record or notes. We are able to look back at what we've done and to build on top of that. To identify truly the circumstance that we're in is pivotal first. But honestly, history is so influential that it will manifest in future generations if you don't build on it or if you don't acknowledge it. So being able to acknowledge history, which, as we're doing on this episode of Brew Table Talks, is a step towards the solution and moving forward, because we're able to identify what inputs did we cultivate in order to get here, and was it the right thing? Was sitting back and letting people control the way we view our women, the way we interact with our women, the way we communicate with our women, even the point in time where we have occupations that take our women out of the house? Was this something in history, recorded events, that was deemed successful in our environments?
Absolutely. You know what? I got a scripture to build on that, and then I wanted to build on top of that as well. All right, so we got Jeremiah 6:16. You guys should get familiar. You're going to get familiar with these scriptures. All right, Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. So it's always important to add that last part, because, all right, we're standing, we're looking at the past, we're getting the information, we are trying to see when did we actually do better and when we was worse off and what caused these things, so that we can actually find rest. Now that we're showing these things, most said that they won't walk therein. What do I mean by that? All right, let's keep it at $1.50. Everyone knows Brew Table Talks. This is about us being Hebrews and us bringing it out and us conversing and seeing these topics and talking about them. All right, we apply a biblical perspective. Now, how many of us know the Bible well enough to apply it in every situation that we walk in? And we're like, I could think of this scripture, I could think of that scripture. Some better than others, some more than others. But that's supposed to be exactly what the good ways were, the good paths were. With that being said, that's something that we understand as being the way to look at the good paths. Well, then it goes back to the basic answer: book, chapter, verse, scriptures, law, statutes, and commandments, and actually seeking after the Most High. And people were like, well, what is seeking after the Most High? Then we look back at the old ways and saw how the people sought after the Most High, right? And now that we are there, now we are looking back, now that we are having these conversations, where do we move forward in the actuality of actually applying these scriptures? Because that's what brought us into these curses, was not applying them. When do we stop putting other gods in front of us and start and bowing down to idol worship? I mean, we just had Ash Wednesday, which I literally saw it and I was like, this is a holiday that Christians practice. And wait, hold up. A lot of Black people are Christians. A lot of us was raised Christians, and some denominations. So a lot of them are us, right? We go over to different countries in Africa. A lot of them are Christians, okay? And you'll be sadly mistaken if you think that all of us is only over here in the Americas. We're spread out to all four corners, right? And if we're not applying these laws, statutes, and commandments, if we're not creating communities where this is a possibility. I mean, look at Pastor Dow, great example. of a community that's walking with the Most High and starting to see fruition of everything that the scriptures tell us. So that's my answer to that. What do we do now? We actually apply what we learned. We gravitate to people that are like-minded. We do what those scriptures say. We learn how to be agricultural people once again. You know, it's not just some book, chapter, verse that we screaming over here. It's not just law, statutes, commandments that we say redundantly that it has no weight. You know, and any of that intensity wasn't directed to you. It was really directed to the question itself, not the person. For encourage your brothers more. Chat and host. Yo, you want to take that one on? Hey, does anyone want to come up?
Man, hey, you're doing it right now. Being able to interact, and even if it is not so much as a positive interaction, it's an interaction at that for us to learn and grow. And people look at negative and positive as being something bad and good. But when we are able to actually communicate and gain understanding on both ends, that is how we support and encourage and grow, because we're here with each other.
Okay.
Just to be able to cancel somebody based off of a point that made you feel some type of way, you know, it kind of disregards the growth aspect. But what are we really heading towards when we speak this truth? And for people to support us is by sharing the content, interacting with us. You interact with the people in the chat, because this is an environment, this is a community where like-minded people come together and grow in the truth. So we want to be able to invite people who have other perspectives, but at the same time, we want to be able to grow with these perspectives, and not as far as demonize people, but hey, what are we all here for? We're here to help each other, inspire each other, motivate each other, encourage each other to be the best that we can be. And if I see something wrong with Brother Leon, hey, I'm gonna tell him. If he sees something wrong with me, he's gonna tell me.
You already know.
Hey, so it's up to us as a community to speak up, especially when we see things wrong, but also encourage and give back, give our roses while we're here. So that's a little bit of something we can do while we're here to support.
I just want to add on to that, right? I love having a co-host that allows me to get my thoughts compiled together. It's a beautiful thing. All praises to the Most High. So how can us as sisters support and encourage you brothers more? Right? The chat and the host. Well, I'm going to say it like this. We have a gift. You can highlight that gift, but you have a gift as well. Whatever, whoever. Everyone has a talent, a gift. As Stevie says, one body, many members. Right? There's very few workers actually in the harvest. Right? And it says that if you were to pray for anything, pray for more workers. Right? So how can you support? I mean, monetarily works. That's a way. Right? But that's not the only way. You can support by being a light in your circle as well. That's monumental. For me to know that I shine a light, and then that light, someone else was able to see the light, was not me, but the Most High. They grabbed onto that light, and they shared their light, and it multiplied, and it grew. That's helping the harvest. This is the Most High's kingdom. Now, independently, I mean, Divine Lee and myself have some things coming up in the future. I mean, Divine Lee has clothing that literally speaks volumes to the people by just wearing the fashion, representing something that's positive, right? I'm actually compiling some lessons and things of that sort for you guys dealing with health and things of that sort. And I'm also launch a Patreon if you want to be a part of that. go ahead. But once again, not just monetarily, you will help me by being someone who's actually very well versed in the scriptures. How does that help me? Because now that I am not the only one, now you can instruct other sisters, you can instruct children and lead them to the light as well. You lighten the load, right? That is the most help that you can do. And then Yaharahu says, how do we apply? How do we make others unite? We don't make nobody unite or join onto us that's not sent by the Most High. I'd much rather be homeless and alone. And I don't say that easily. I say it honestly. Than be with a whole bunch of snakes. That's what Psalms 1 is talking about. What you hear all these rap artists talking about, you gotta keep the grass low, cut the snake, just watch for the snakes, right? I'm not trying to force anybody to join, but how do you join? Well, Divine Leads create a Discord that you can join in. We speak about things right there. And on my Patreon, I will be creating a community and things of that sort. New Breed got some things in the back that he hasn't fully disclosed to me or anyone, but I know he's working in the background, right? And there's things of that sort. The best thing for you to do to support anyone is to support yourself, so you can even invest more. Let's see. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say on that. Let's see. You see anything else you wanted to bring out?
I just want to be able to say, as truthfully as possible, to know that what we're doing right now and keeping records of our conversations can help further along the generations after us, as far as being more together, being a community, being actually people who have the fruits of the spirit. Because this day and age where you can walk around with a mask on your face and not even look people in their eyes, not even communicate, is that really a part of our history? Is that really a part of our records of human interactions? So how can we create an environment that catapults us to be successful, and not just in materialistic ways? Because as we can see, people who are far better off with all these materials can jump out a window. And the ones who pretty much lack are the ones that are closest together in humanity. So what are we teaching children? What records are we keeping to progress and pass down? What notes are we sharing? And when we get on this YouTube platform and knowing that this content is on here forever, anybody can view it.
Yeah.
These are literally we're creating history.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we move forward from what our conversations that we just had? And I propose that to everybody else in the chat. How do you move forward from the conversations that you have every day? And that's with interactions with your immediate family, your friends, interactions with your workplace, interactions with just, hey, you taking leisure time. What are you moving forward from? And is it a spot where it is positive for you to grow and learn?
Good. It's a good question. I saw another question. I'm going to add on to what you said first, though. Self-development, self-improvement can only be done with self-accountability and seeking the Most High for the answers. And let's move on to the next question. I see Carrie K. Any advice for women in truth who want to start a channel? I know Lauren Diamond in here has a truth channel. And I don't know if she's free or not. I'm putting her on the spot, but if she wants to actually converse about that, come up. I'm gonna give you my take real quick, but I say it like this: first, study to show yourself approved. Right? Don't try to get up there and start teaching men. I'm going to be honest. You're going to have men in the truth is going to come at you. You're going to have men who are of the world come at you, because guess what? That is, it's very hard for a man to take advice from someone that seems to emasculate him in the process. And it's just connotated very different when a man checks another man versus when a woman tries to check a man. I'm going to just put it out there truthfully. That's just how it is. That's how it runs. And be open to contemplation before you upload something. Think heavy before you make a new video. Pray to the Most High. Is this exactly what the Most High wants to have you highlight? Are you highlighting it in a godly fashion? Or are you just feeding into the everyday ordeals? We're in the aspect that it's just another gossip channel. It's just another mukbang. It's just you doing makeup, which is really worldly, right? Or does this actually have substance? What value are you creating when you're making this content? And if it doesn't have value, don't do it. Right? Are you highlighting your gift? Are you bringing forth your praises to the Most High in what you're saying? It's fine, Lana. I know people busy. It's like midday right here, so I understand. And those are some things that you should definitely consider. I mean, those are things I consider. You know, in the respective of my field and the things that I bring up. A lot of these videos I've thought over 50 or 100 times before I've had a single conversation about them online. So, anything you wanted to add on that, Lee?
What is your record of creating? Why are you creating? In the sense where I can speak on the topic of creating artworks. I can speak on the topic of creating fashion. I can speak on the topic of creating videos. My why is I wanted to do it to express myself. I wanted to do it to not only fulfill a purpose and a passion of mine, but also acknowledge God in everything that I do. Being able to have the fashion and say, faith and desire, faith that anything is possible, desire to be extraordinary, dreams do come true. Having artworks that make you think about life and the beauty thereof. Creating videos with my brother in the faith, knowing that when we communicate, there's nothing but greatness that's gonna come from it. Because all we do is give our praises to the Most High. So why? What's your history of creating? Were you creating just for monetary gain? Were you creating just to say, hey, look how good I am? Or are you creating when you look at a child making something and they don't have any knowledge of what they're doing, they're just doing it just off of pure instinct. Are you making these videos off of pure instinct? Like it just comes into your mind. Is this something that flows easy for you? Or is this like a force that, is kind of going against the grain of what you should do? Really contemplate all those things, especially when you get into creating content. And hey, who cares about the criticism? As long as the Most High is over here making sure that I'm good, who cares what other people say in their opinions? Because the right people will find your content of value and you will be able to progress. You're going to get criticized whatever you do. To say that my own family told me they not finna wear my clothing because it was too godly. but that didn't stop me.
Bro, in my 20-year poem, a 20-year reflection, I said, I was hated anyway. You're going to be hated if you're saying you love everybody. You're going to be hated if you say you hate everybody. But there's good criticism, and there's an aspect of it's constructive. For instance, I'd be like, yo, stop wearing tank tops to our videos. You're you're attracting the wrong type of attention, you know. And you're like, all right, cool. You can take that, you know what I mean? But don't do this right here. Don't look at criticism as whether it's what intentions follow, but whether it's true or not.
Hey, I criticize
because,
you on your music, family.
Exactly.
Like, how you
but
gonna
whether
take
it's true or not, this helps you detach, right? This helps you not get on your emotions. I think detachment from always being overly invested in other people's perception is not healthy, right? So what I mean by this is, okay, if someone says, you know how we have that harsh mentor, that mentor is just on you, just grinding everything about you and just grinding into dust. And everything he's saying is true, but he says it's so mean, right? Take out the mean part, pay attention to the true part, and keep it moving. Now, if it's all just things to tear you down, which you're going to find a lot of baseless accusations, and you'll be like, I just didn't like your shirt today. It was yellow. It should have been orange. Well, that family, you just connotated as some of the things that you got to take. It is what it is. I mean, at the point of the day, I was like, man, they love me that much that they just told me they wanted me to wear a yellow shirt instead of an orange shirt today. That's cool. they like to see me in yellow. I got you. Maybe I'll humor it, or maybe not, because I don't like what the way yellow. You get me? So yeah, that's definitely accountability and criticism. You know, righteous criticism can even seem a little harsh sometimes, but if it's true, take on to the truth and spit out the bones. Spit out anything that's rottenness. I didn't know either, man. I checked her out one day. Lon Diamond definitely has a channel. She has 3 poems out, and she has some other videos on a few other things, and it's great. It's good stuff. I mean, New Breed said she had a channel. I was like, what? I had to check it out. You know, I'm subscribed. So yeah, most definitely. I mean, hey, there might even be a collaboration in the future. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's see. Any other questions? Anything else in the comments? This is correct criticism. Exactly. It's exactly what I was saying. Want to build with like-minded people moving forward. Amen. Most definitely. Be emotional. It don't even just be women who are emotional because of how society is moving today. It's people in general.
Check it out, though. Is that our history?
Ooh.
That our past record of men being emotional?
Ooh.
And when you really look at it, a woman can look at a man and say, "What's the difference now?" As you can see a man dressed up in a woman's clothing and then acting like a woman, and then pretty much got shows of wanting to be what is the difference? We're supposed to be leaders. We're supposed to be able to provide a logical input on what's going on in our environment. And hey, we can get a little emotional at times, but to control that energy and motion, to control how we feel, and look at the facts, look at the records, and not just go based off of emotion, is moving forward with accountability, knowing that, hey, this is what happened in the past. This is what I need to do to change the future. I cannot be emotional about this as a man. I have to just do it.
Man, this is crazy. I'm gonna have to just add this to support video. No cap. But also what I wanted to say this is I came out with was it in Unity? I think it was. I think so. where I said, I'll be your fortress, a place where you don't have to endure stress. Men have to be that pillar, right? That's. I mean, I actually just was doing some research, and to be honest, if a lot of women be like, men don't apologize for a lot of things. Well, also men don't find as many things as offensive as some women do, which that's okay, you know. But with that being granted, with that being said, it goes to this. A lot of times we can just look at a situation and be like, man, that sucked. It is what it is, and move forward. And women are a lot more invested in the things that happen on around, and they articulate that. No problem. So the best way I found myself to even, detach a little bit to see the difference between emotions, which I don't think it's good for any person to not know what their emotions are and what they stand, but understanding that emotions are signals and nothing more. That it might, I mean, when you really look at the science, the same chemical biomarkers for excitement and anxiety/fear are the same exact thing. The only thing that's different is your perception.
Mm.
So understanding that your emotions are nothing more than a signal, you can decide how you want to interpret that signal is very powerful. It's okay. Don't do anything that's on that could put you in harm's way. I'm not even gonna post that. Don't do anything that will put you in harm's way. I'm saying you was at a stop sign. It was massive traffic. That's all I'm going to say on that. You know exactly who I'm talking to. But I think this was great. I think this was a great stream.
Likewise. Something to move forward with.
Definitely.
I definitely appreciate everybody tuning in, and my brother over here keeping me encouraged, man. Knowing, what we already did at this part, and to be able to have these records on hand, what we created, and say the best is yet to come. But when we look back, are we looking at records that are true? Are we looking at records that represents us in totality of who we are and who we are supposed to become? So when we wake up every day and question, what's our purpose? Why do we even do the thing? Why do we even have a job? Your history plays a role in that. Your history plays a role in how you feel, how we communicate, how we grow our communities.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I want to say this. Now that we know the history, now that we have these things brought back into remembrance, will we actually do what is good for us, or will we continue to dwell in lasciviousness and wickedness? We can all elevate, or we can self-deprecate, right? And now that we've brought out this history, some may be angry. What are you going to do with that energy? Because I told you, it's just a signal. How do we transmute that into righteousness? What does it really mean to put all your strength back into the Most High, like how He said that we should? Because when we look at history, that's when we shine. And let those thoughts reign on you for the rest of the day. How do you glorify the Most High in all your ways? How do you fight the good fight, endure to the end? How do you build with those who are sowing into you? How do you sow back into them? How do we become legendary once again? Family. And with that being said, another banger, bro.
hey, Brew Table Talks, man. To say that, brother, all praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High for even allowing us to get together on this platform. And the growth has been none the less than extraordinary.
Absolutely.
So I can't wait to see what's in store for the future. God willing, bro, we get to keep on continuing, man, because hey, this has been, I don't know about the people in the chat, but for me, life changing. For me, an experience that I felt like I got closer in my relationship with the Most High. So, bro, thank you.
It's always a pleasure. You know, I think we gotta leave on a high note. You know what I mean? We gotta
Exactly,
leave on a high note.
Man, come on, man. Hey, you
And
see
know
how I
that.
be putting you out there? Yo, hey, come on, man. I be feeling the same way you put me out there, brother, man.
Yeah. We gotta know that the Most High is grinding for us. We gotta know the Most High is grinding for us.
Always and forever, brother. Always
So
and
let's
forever.
return the same energy.
You know?
Return the same energy.
Been riding for me. Been grinding for me. God been grinding for me.
Check some more.
God been grinding for me. 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 Blessed by the grace of design, chosen witness your time. In the dark, I still shine. How bright the light, don't go blind. If you search, you shall find what it's like to be divine. Yeah. God been grinding for me. 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 No Toby Maguire, but my spidey senses tingling. Marvel at the web internet cabin. I don't need no follows. I'm a leader, chosen captain. Hey. God been grinding for me. Yeah, so I expect greatness from my body, my soul, and my mind. I pray they all stay aligned. God send me a sign. Yeah. God been grinding for me. 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 Blessed by the grace of design, chosen witness your time. In the dark, I still shine. How light don't go blind. If you search, you shall find what it's like to be divine. Yeah.
God been grinding for me. God been grinding for me. All praise to the Most High, man.
Most definitely, man. With that being said, family, shalom and peace.
Peace and blessings, my people. Peace and blessings.